Welcome to Across the Whoniverse, a Doctor Who marathon podcast. I'm your friendly neighborhood Time Lord, Chels.
I'm your Muppet of a Time Lord, Paige.
And our companion this episode is one of my favorite people, one of my favorite podcast hosts, Morgan. Welcome to this show.
Yay!
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. You both have been on my podcast, so I'm so excited to have the roles reversed where I just watch things and then join you to talk about them.
Isn't it nice that your homework is just, hey, let's watch this and see what happens?
Exactly.
But Morgan, more than just being a guest, you're the composer of our theme music. I mean,
I know. Once again, garage band coming in a clutch.
we love that. Renaissance woman right here. So Morgan, tell us about yourself and your podcast, but also your history with Doctor Who.
My history with Doctor Who is so short. Like myself, it is, I've seen 2 whole episodes prior to coming on today. I watched the infamous one with Carey Mulligan because, of course, and then watched a wild one about Agatha Christie with my girl Felicity Jones, the villainess of The Worst Witch, one of the better witch and magic television series of our time. And that is it. That's it. So today is an adventure for me in being introduced to Doctor Who outside of more than 2 random episodes. But yeah, you both have been on my podcast, Female Gaze, the Film Club. We talk about movies that are directed by female filmmakers and discuss their cinematic point of view. We've also branched out to talk about women in editing and talk about the greatest writing duo of all time, Karen McCullough and Kiwi Smith. So we do a little bit more, but at its core, it's about female filmmakers.
And we love that. And just
Yeah.
so the listeners know, I am the Carey Mulligan to Morgan's Zoe Kazan. If you know, you know.
If you
I
know,
will
you know.
get into a bar fight any day for you. But let's just dive into this episode. It is Series 1, Episode 2, The End of the World, written by Russell T. Davies, the showrunner, and directed by Euros Lyn. Hope I'm saying that right. I don't know words or names.
That seems correct.
Feels right. Feels true. And then it originally aired on the 2nd of April, 2005, and it features our 9th Doctor, Rose Tyler, the face of Bo, Jabe from the Forest of Sheem, and Lady Cassandra. Oh boy, I love her.
Iconic characters in this one.
Iconic. And an iconic setting because we're on Platform 1 in the year 5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
Paige, we've both seen this episode before. What were your impressions going back and revisiting this episode?
I was kind of looking at this. So my partner hasn't seen Doctor Who before, and he is watching for the very first time. So I'm kind of also watching through his eyes. So it's interesting to see someone going in completely new to the show, starting with the 9th Doctor, the New Who era. And looking at it in that way, I think this is a really good continuation of the first episode. Like it goes right into the action and the like chaos of the Doctor's world. Because he immediately decides to choose chaos and take Rose to the end of the world.
Truly just trying to show off and is like, oh, 100 years, thousands of years, let's go billions of years. And I'm like, every time you show off, it ends poorly, my guy.
He is just so thrilled. He thinks that she's going to be so amazed and like tickled like he is to watch the world explode.
It's so
interesting.
dark.
It is
And-
dark. The fact that there's an observation deck for all these like rich aliens to watch the Earth explode.
It's always the rich aliens getting into trouble.
It is.
Morgan, what was your like brief overall impressions before we jump into the plot?
Yeah, Paige, as you were talking, I kind of was thinking about the fact that you do have the doctor showing off. And for some reason, all I could think about was someone on the hills having to describe the Large Hadron Collider to Audrina Patridge and like her mind being blown. And I'm just like, is that what was being attempted here?
I love that connection.
Thank you so much. This is what I bring. This is the chaos that I bring always. But yeah, so I was thinking about that. And also, as you were saying, the fact that there's like a whole bunch of rich aliens that are like, let me watch the demise of something in the year of our Lord 2025, unfortunately feels extremely on the nose.
Sorry, I'm still recovering from Audrina.
I love her. She's my girl.
I love her. Oh, we do love
Incredible.
reality television here. This makes so much sense. This is a reality show to these rich people. Oh
It
my
is.
gosh.
Truly.
The connections. So yeah, no, my impressions though. I've always just really loved this episode. I think there's some great character work. Obviously, Lady Cassandra, an icon, queer icon, complete menace. I love her. Moisturize me, baby. I'm sorry. Drag Race fans will know that one of my favorite delusional queens last year was Joella. And when I say delusional, she thought she was everything. She was a big Katy Perry stan. She came out dressed like as a mattress and looked like Lady Cassandra last season. And when I say I cried, I love her. So it was really Joella culture coming out.
I was thinking of that the entire time I watched this.
Like Morgan, I will send you a picture. Like Paige, look that up
Please.
as I'm about to read because it is so funny. So yeah, let's just dive in because this episode it really just opens with the doctor trying to impress Rose, like slowly jumping ahead, saying, "Let's go 100 years, 1,000 years. Let's see some Romans, the new Roman Empire." And then they just hit 5 billion years in the future, which you know that's gonna be a bad idea. And it's literally the day the sun expands, and we're gonna end Earth. They got like 30 minutes until this bitch is gone. They exit the TARDIS to a space shuttle observation deck where them and a bunch of rich guests observe the death of Earth. You get a whole Star Trek observation deck situation going. The people are all gone. Corporations have been keeping the sun away from Earth, delaying its death, but the money ran out and the planet is a goner. Is this gonna happen to us? What do y'all think?
I mean, I think it's hopeful that they're giving us 5 billion years.
It's very generous.
Mm-hmm. But it also does track that there are corporations and like continued colonization even in space. And again, as an American, I do find it kind of funny that the British are like, yeah, obviously this is what would continue to happen even in space because the sun never set on the British Empire for quite some time, because of their own practices. So
Yeah, I mean, as we go through this show, you'll see that the British have colonized a lot of things, enslaved a lot of creatures in space. So, it's just a matter of time before they take over and just destroy everything. But Morgan, I found the image for you. Let me screen share real quick.
I cannot wait. Okay, that is iconic.
It's
And
just so good.
what you're giving me ideas for a Halloween costume next year.
Hmm.
You're gonna be the drag queen Joella, Lady Cassandra.
That's a reference.
And it'll be incredible.
It was amazing. And that's all I could think about this episode.
So next, the Doctor and Rose are caught by the steward, and we get to see our first glimpse of the psychic paper in the new series, which is one of my favorite gadgets that the Doctor uses throughout the show. It
Same. I would get
basically,
in so much trouble.
oh, I know, we would cause even more chaos. The psychic paper shows people what the doctor wants them to see, basically. So in this instance, it's an invitation to the viewing party so that they can get in and not get in trouble. And then they meet honored guests, which include Jabe, a tree from the forest of Cheam, Mox of Balhoun, and the adherents of the repeated memes, which is such a funny name, in the face of Bo, icon.
Icon,
The
legend.
Legend. We love him. The guests exchange gifts, and Jabe gives a clipping from her grandfather, and the doctor giving her air from his lungs.
It's very flirty
Very
and
flirty.
sensual.
The doctor, I'm on this rewatch, I'm really noticing how much the Ninth Doctor in particular has chemistry with every single person.
Christopher Eccleston, my God, flirts with everybody. It's
Everyone.
except for Jackie Tyler, my queen.
Yeah. She wants him to so bad, but he will not.
I mean, Morgan, you saw the first episode. She was
I
really
did.
wanting him.
She's trying real
Immediately.
hard.
She was. I was rooting for her. But y'all, then we meet our very special guest, Lady Cassandra, aka the last pure human. She's a sheet of skin. She's Joella's tether, and she's voiced by the icon Zoe Wanamaker. Everyone look her up. She's great. And I love her history because she's fully in Joella's drag delusion as well. Her father was a Texan, her mother was from the Arctic desert. They were the last to be buried on Earth, and she brings many artifacts from Earth, including the last ostrich egg, because they had a 50-foot wingspan and breathed fire from their nostrils. An iPod, which is just a jukebox playing Tainted Love by Soft Cell. And I'm here for it. I like her little presence.
The iPod bit is so
hmm
camp.
It kind of reminded me of when I was in grad school, I worked on a memory care unit. And so they would play music from when the residents were growing up and like younger. So it was a lot of
Mhm.
like 40s, 50s into the 60s music. And I could just sit there going like, what's going to happen when millennials are in nursing homes? Is it just going to be like Spice Girls and
Yeah,
Alanis Morissette and just
Exactly.
that's what we're going to be bopping around to?
I will just forever be bopping to Tegan and Sarah. Like, put me in the home, put that on the speakers, whatever little devices we have, the little brain implants they give us. I'm ready for it.
We're gonna be like, please, can we have our Carly Rae Jepsen?
Oh my goodness. Yes.
So after a little excursion into the iPod playing Tainted Love, the guests all mingle and chit chat, and Jabe takes a picture of the doctor, or she seems to, but she's really scanning him to see what species he is. She's trying to clock him. Rose wanders off and meets Ruffalo the plumber, who has to have permission to speak, which is pretty sad. There's a glitch in the face of Beau's suite that she has to fix, and Rose really like bonds with her and says she's a long way from home. And she starts to like, we can see her freaking out about the fact that she's like 5 billion years in the future and she's having this realization of how weird it is. And then she has to let Ruffalo continue her repairs, and she encounters this little weird robot that's shaped like a spider, and it drags her into the vent.
Fully horrifying immediately. And then we just kind of see these little robot spiders wandering all over the platform, kind of in the background, in like the steward's office, where he's calling for the owner of the blue box to report to his office. And Rose is just like starting to talk to Jabe's grandfather's clipping, saying, "Oh, I'm kind of a plant too, because my name's Rose." And we see the little robot behind her. And the doctor's like supervising them moving the TARDIS out of the way and valeting it essentially. And you see him in the background, and you're like, well, this can't be okay. Here's our monster of the week. And then, like, the doctor finds Rose and she just, like, starts interrogating him about why does everybody speak English? And he explains that there's, like, this telepathic field from the TARDIS and it's just translated for her. And this is one of my favorite things is when a companion pushes back on the doctor about consent. It's like,
Hmm.
so you have this thing in my head without my permission, just like talking to me, doing stuff to me. And he's like, uh-oh, I didn't think about that. And again, we see this later with Belinda Chandra, my girl who robbed Queen. You'll see in like 15 seasons, Morgan.
Much
It's
later.
much later. She is not having it, much like Rose in this moment. And I love when the doctor is just called out on his shit. And Rose just wants to know more about him because she realizes he's a stranger and he gets really defensive about his past. And then Rose, just seeing that he's not going to open up at all, is like, well, my phone's out of range. I'm not going to fight with my designated driver. And then the doctor fiddles with her phone and she's able to make calls 5 billion years in the past to her mom. And Rose perks up and tells her mom she'll be home late.
After Rose's phone call with her mom, the station starts to shake and the doctor's really worried about it. The steward's freaking out in his office and he sees one of those metal spiders and clicks around his keyboard and it removes the filter that's keeping the sun from just completely burning people up and it kills the steward in his office, which is such a crazy, scary way to go. The doctor and Rose return to the party to investigate. They find Jabe and go off to the maintenance duct, and the doctor learns that the station is automated and there's only staff and the steward aboard. So they don't have many people there to like help them if things are going awry.
I mean, completely horrifying. Hate it. Do not. No. Not here for that.
But like kind of a premonition of like Ocean Gate, if you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, that's true. Remember the Ocean Gate? Morgan, this is what you're here for. Rich people doing wild things.
Rich people doing wild things, and then people being like, how could catastrophe happen when everyone was ill-equipped and
There's a Nintendo controller, like
I
an
mean,
off-brand
like,
Nintendo controller controlling it all.
you can't even spring for like a regular Nintendo controller for your little submersible.
Name brand.
I mean, goodness gracious.
And
James
this
Cameron judging you too.
Have
That's
you
pretty
seen the
bad.
redacted paper TikTok
I
about
sure
that?
have.
That's pretty bad.
It is.
And this spaceship seems pretty big, so I don't know why they couldn't have like an expert on board who could be there in case things start to freak out.
I also do love that this is about the time the doctor is telling Jabe, I was on an unsinkable ship once and it like
Uh-huh.
collided with an iceberg, like just fully implying the doctor was on the Titanic. I believe that.
Absolutely.
It's insane. But back at the party, Lady Cassandra is telling Rose that the human race left Earth and has touched every star in the sky. The humans mingled, and she's the last pure human and calls the rest of them mongrels because they mingled with other species. So don't worry, she's racist too. Queer people can be awful as well. We are about to learn. Rose calls out the number of operations that Lady Cassandra has had before, and she's had like over 700 with another one scheduled in a week. Fully insane. And Lady Cassandra just starts recommending procedures to her, and Rose is like, I'd rather die than live like a bitchy trampoline.
Iconic.
It's so good. And then Rose tells her she's actually the last human, and Cassandra's just lipstick and skin before storming out. And as Rose is wandering around, she's knocked out by the adherents of the repeated memes. Again, such a silly name.
I can't not think of just literal internet memes.
And that's kind of what they are. We find out soon.
Basically. After that, the doctor and Jabe are talking, and she explains that she's there to pay respects as a direct descendant of the tropical rainforest, which is lovely. She tells him that she scanned him earlier, and it's remarkable that he even exists, and apologizes for what he's been through. This is another instance of like we're slowly getting these drops of lore that like something really terrible happened to the doctor, but we don't know yet. Then they open up a vent to this large room and notice that there's a change in temperature. Jabe notices a spider and knocks one out, and the doctor tells her that their purpose is for sabotage.
Dun dun. I'm telling you, in another life, Jabe would have been an amazing companion. Love her.
Oh, she's just so wonderful.
And she's like so hot. I know there's like a billion
Yeah.
prosthetics, but gorgeous.
Still hot.
Yes. But back at the party, there's 10 minutes until Earth's death. So Lady Cassandra holds court to mourn and plays a traditional Earth ballad, Toxic by Britney Spears. Morgan, this is why we invited you.
Yes, because the minute that needle drop of Toxic came, I was like, this is why this episode was chosen for me.
Yes.
I understand. I understand now.
You get the vision. We know what you're here for. And then we cut back to a sequence of the doctor figuring out that there's sun filters that have been programmed to descend, and basically like the windows that were protecting them, they're coming down. They're coming and they're gonna fry these people in the platform. And Rose, she kind of just waking up. She's a little groggy, but she's locked in a room where the sun filter is descending. And the doctor battles like this program that's like learning and basically an AI program learning and relearning its data to keep the filters down. But the doctor's got a sonic screwdriver, and that does like so many things, Morgan. It's just like a magic wand without, transphobia.
It's like an all-purpose tool.
Yeah, a Swiss Army knife without the knife.
Yeah.
So, yes, the doctor barely gets the filter back up before running back to the party where Jabe is telling everybody that the spider devices have infiltrated the whole platform and that the steward is dead. Lady Cassandra accuses the face of Bo of this villainy, but the doctor has the spider return to its master, the adherents of the repeated memes, but they're revealed to be an idea, and that Lady Cassandra's behind it all. And then I love this little exchange where she threatens the doctor. She's like, at arms. And he's like, what are you going to do? Moisturize me? And she's like, with acid. They're both so sassy.
They it's just two queers just going off on each other.
It is. Like, I know Tumblr calls the Ninth Doctor a butch lesbian, but it was really noticeable in this episode.
For real. That exchange also makes me wonder, like, what is in her moisturizer?
I'm scared to know. I don't think there's any retinol in there.
It's just foot cream for Mean Girls fans.
Yes. Smells like peppermint. Then Cassandra mentions that she wanted to manufacture a hostage situation, basically, to receive compensation, because, she's not rich enough. She said flatness costs a fortune, which is very funny. Her backup plan is having shares in the rival companies of every guest that's there, and with their deaths, the stock prices would then go up. She activates her spiders and teleports away, leaving everyone else to die because she does not care.
She don't care. She's the last pure
Mm-mm.
human. Racism's always behind everything, and capitalism. But with 2 minutes until Earth dies, the doctor and Jabe go to look for the system restore switch in the vent room, and with heat levels rising, Jabe sacrifices herself by burning to death when she turns the vents off and slows down the fan blade so the doctor can make it through, hit the switch, and save everybody on board. Doctor resets the system, and Rose is freed from her observation room. He comforts Jabe's friends before going Dark Doctor and realizing the teleportation needs like a feed, and he finds the transmitter hidden in the ostrich egg. And then he reverses the teleportation to bring Lady Cassandra back to the ship. She taunts the doctor until he notes she's creaking and drying out. She shouts, moisturize me, and Rose asks the doctor to help her, but he says everything has its time, and he lets her explode, leaving Rose horrified.
That's such an interesting part, too, because it's not often that the doctor just literally watches someone die and, like, doesn't do anything about it.
Yeah, but we'll learn more about this doctor and what he's gone through as the season goes on, because this doctor's been through some stuff.
It makes more sense when you learn some of that lore.
Oh, yeah.
Would you have moisturized her?
No.
No.
Morgan would not. Morgan's a bad bitch.
No.
I don't know if I would. That's tough, because I do believe in be gay, do crime, but also,
Right.
like, she's real bad.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh, you are iconic. You are a diva. However,
However,
you're also evil.
sashay away.
If she didn't surgically remove her own hands, she could have taken care of it herself. But
Right.
That's true. She's over 2,000 years old, at least.
She's lived long enough. That's way too long.
It is way too long. Please put me out. Like, if I hit 100, be like, no, let her go. Not unless Doctor Who's really good. Wait till Doctor Who gets bad and I'm like 100 years
Right.
old, then let me go.
I was gonna say the doctor is 900 and he's already like so over it.
So over it. Last of the Time Lord, just running and running and running.
Mm-hmm.
And we're about to learn this because cut back to Rose at the observation deck, watching the dead Earth, and the doctor just standing behind her, just so sassy looking, like hand on hip. We got a picture in our notes about it. She's upset that her home is gone 5 billion years from now, but the doctor returns her to a busy street in 2005 London. And he's like, one day it's all gone, even the sky, my planet is gone. It's dead. It burned like the Earth. It's just rocks and dust before its time. There was a war and we lost. And he reveals he's the last of the Time Lords and he's left traveling on his own because there's nobody else. And she's like, "Well, you got me." And he's like, "Well, do you want to go home? You want to come with me?" And she's not sure what she wants to do travel-wise, but she does want chips. Sadly, the doctor does not carry money ever, so chips are on her. And that is our episode.
She is so real for just immediately wanting chips.
Same. It's like, I don't know what I want, but I want lunch.
Yeah.
A
Lunch
form of
first.
potato, please and thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Amazing. So, Morgan, what do you think of this episode? You've officially watched what, 4 Doctor Who episodes, including this premiere?
In total, yes.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Absolutely wild. Did enjoy because like I grew up watching Star Wars, so I'm not completely.
You've been to space, yeah.
Yeah, I've been to space. I've seen creatures and other aliens. I get that. I think it's just very interesting because I know what a cultural phenomenon Doctor Who is. And I'm like, how does anyone get into this in general?
Mental illness, that's how.
I
That is
guess.
exactly, yeah.
I mean, the needle drop of toxic, I literally said to myself, this was a lot of money. Like the BBC dropped some cash for this. Like 2005 Britney Spears.
I will say, like, the BBC, I don't know what the music licensing laws are because I just picked up EastEnders this past year. They have like real music. There's like Charlie XCX. Like
Dang.
Apple is in EastEnders, and I'm like, they cannot afford this. There must be different music laws.
I remember even back in the day, like on Skins, they had good music and stuff like that.
Yeah, it has to be something over there. Everything must cost a dime. What did not cost a dime was this entire episode. The majority of the series' effect budget was used up just for this episode because the story required more CGI effects than any other story. And as I was reading, and I got all this from like the TARDIS fandom Wikipedia pages, so if we're wrong or if the page is wrong, like write in, correct us. But they were like, it was over 200 shots compared to something like Gladiator with a budget that had like 100. So, like,
That's wild.
just a sequence in which the viewing gallery tilted on its axis had to be dropped due to the expensive budget. And just like because Lady Cassandra, she was way too complex to animate at the time, a lot of her lines were dropped and the episode was too short. So they had to add the scene between Rose and Ruffalo, I think was her name. And it was like a late addition just to make up for time. It's insane.
That surprises me that that's like an additional scene because I think that one's so important to Rose's character.
Yeah, because Rose is like a shop girl. She lives in like government housing. She's very low
Hmm.
income, everything. And I think it makes sense for her to connect with the workers there.
No, it absolutely makes sense for her. And I've noted that, like, we see this more in upcoming episodes, but something I love about Rose is that she will find a friend everywhere she goes, no matter where it is in the universe or like what time period it is, she's gonna bond with someone.
And it's usually the help
Yes.
because she's a girl's girl and she's just so friendly. And I like that we're seeing a lot of the show through her eyes. And I think she's the perfect kind of companion to reintroduce audiences to Doctor Who. Because at this point, it's been off air there for like, what, 16 years? There was the TV movie in the 90s that was like a TV pilot that didn't go anywhere. So, yeah, this is a lot of people's first foray into Doctor Who. So, let's talk about one more horrible behind the scenes thing. So, this is from the TARDIS fandom and the Wikipedia page, but it's also got a quote from the Sunday Mirror. Russell T Davies, who created Lady Cassandra, has said on many occasions that he was inspired to create her upon viewing skinny Hollywood actresses at the Academy Awards. And he is quoted as saying, "It was horrific seeing those beautiful women reduced to sticks. Nicole Kidman struck me in particular. Nicole is one of the most beautiful women in the world. Hard facts. But she looks horrifying because she's so thin. It's like we're killing these women in public. We watch while you die."
Ooh.
Y'all, gay men have been toxic the entire time. Like commenting on women's bodies. Stop that.
He could have simply not said that. He could have kept that to himself.
Morgan, as the host of Female Gaze, what do you think of Russell and his problematique-ness?
I mean, I think that there is something about beauty standards, but there is a way to have a conversation about it without one talking about a very specific industry and the women in in that industry, and then two to name a specific woman is just like, oh, you're just here being a catty bitch at this point in time.
Nicole Kidman, one of the biggest movie stars, especially in 2005,
I mean,
2004, right
the
off an
fact that
Oscar win.
right off an Oscar win, I mean, this is around the time where she's like really doing big budget movies, like had a flashback of her doing like The Interpreter and like all these kind of big.
It's like the others, Moulin Rouge, and then weird stuff like Birth.
And she's doing indie stuff. She's doing stuff that you're watching on TNT because your dad wants to have it on. Like she is everywhere. And I think in particular, I find it kind of ironic that if you look at her career over the past 20 years, she has only remained a huge star and has also leveraged that power and privilege to like elevate other people and their voices too. And I think if you watch her in like last year's Baby Girl, that's also another demonstration of like the impossible standards that women have to. I think that's one of the many themes in there, but a major theme of impossible standards for women. And yeah, just like touch grass and stop talking about other people's bodies. I don't know.
I know, like the fact that we all grew up in this time of
Mm.
where this was just such casual conversation is insane. I'm shocked any of us survived.
I mean, not to say Beetlejuice three times, but like this was when Perez Hilton was also a thing.
Ugh.
And
Mm-hmm.
like the toxicity of, I mean, I think that there is something to be said about we watch while you die, but I don't think that he recognized the way in which the objectification of women and again, like the standards that we were holding women to was actually causing many of them to go through some very public, difficult moments. I mean, this is 2 years before the horrible circumstances of Britney Spears having to go through that in the public eye, Amy Winehouse,
Mhm.
Anna Nicole Smith literally losing a child and then having to be looked at through her grief process and her unfortunate passing. So it's just kind of like, yeah, it is an apt thing to say, but you're a little bit more complacent to it than you actually having a meaningful conversation about
Yeah.
it.
And it really shows the disconnect in him creating this really good villain and just the way he talks about women as if beauty standards are our fault.
Yeah, there's a very evident cognitive dissonance in
Hmm.
like being able to say like this is a problem while then perpetuating really negative stereotypes and really vilifying in not productive way. Because again, like I think that there is something to be said about having a campy villain, but then to use the context of women in Hollywood and then again specifically call one out saying that that was the inspiration for it is tone deaf in a pretty profound way.
Also, I don't think we have brought it up yet, but Cassandra is very much coded as a trans character.
And revealed later in like the expanded universe.
They delve more into in the comics. Yeah.
Because I want to say it's her next appearance within the show. Maybe we'll bring you back for that one. Don't worry, she comes back. I know she dies, but she comes back. And she has an interesting journey. I think there is a full character arc there. But I do like that she's much more complex than we think.
Very interesting character.
Yeah, especially like I think there's more to dive into with her being a pure human and just how she views other humans.
Right.
That really they could have dug in a little bit more. And they do a little bit in like the expanded stuff. But let's talk about a few notes on this episode. I will just randomly talk about a few. We get the first appearance of the face of Bo, an icon. Great prop, by the way. Like just the artistry of that. This is
Ugh,
2005, and they spent all their money on this one episode.
I miss practical effects. I know some
So
people are still
much.
doing them, but you see it less and less.
Yes, especially like in the Disney Who era, they lost a lot of practical effects, whereas like
Hmm.
you saw so much of it all up through the 13th Doctor's run. And then we get our first mention of Bad Wolf with Mox of Balhoun stating, indubitably, this is the Bad Wolf scenario, which that will be our theme this season.
Hmm.
And then Justice for Jabe, her death still hurts me all these decades later. And this is the first time the Doctor has actually shed a tear on screen. I know. Wild. We get to see him cry a little bit. And then in a fun, unaired scene that would have shown the Doctor having 9 strands of DNA when he was scanned by Jabe. And this is a nod to his previous incarnations, which I wish we would have had it.
Fun little Easter egg.
Now, Paige, your notes.
The most important thing was that note we made of the doctor just slaying in the background while Rose is watching her home planet blow up. It's an incredible shot. I love that so much.
We should link it in the show notes.
Yes, absolutely, we will. Noting again that Cassandra is a trans icon and she really solidifies it when she played Toxic while the world ends around them. I can't get over the campiness of that.
That's how we both plan on going. Like, Toxic is playing, put us in the
Absolutely.
ground.
It's because we are toxic.
We really are. So, y'all, any last thoughts before we fly on out of here?
I have to say, what a wild introduction to go from people dressed up as mannequins to all of the 2005 CGI in one episode. It feels like really getting the full range of Doctor Who. And this episode in particular, to have the Earth die while Toxic is playing is really just like that's a moment of culture that I think Matt and Bowen missed, you know?
They really did. So, Morgan, my question for you, would you watch more Doctor Who?
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be as consistent, but yeah, I'm into it.
I'll give you a few other starting points that might grab you a little bit more, too. So, Morgan, thank you for joining us on today's adventure. Remind the listeners where they can find you.
You can find me and my podcast on Instagram and Blue Sky, Female Gaze the Film Club. We also have a website, femalegazefilmclub.com, where I write reviews and other stuff. And we have guest writers and fun things here and there. And you can also follow me on Letterboxd, MSML Roberts, where I just finished a Joan Didion book, so I had to use the word belabored in a Letterboxd review. So
I love that. And y'all, thank you for listening to Across the Whoniverse. We can be found wherever you listen to podcasts, and make sure to rate and review our show on like Spotify or Apple Podcasts. You can find us on Instagram, Blue Sky, Tumblr. The links will be in the show notes, but it's all Across the Whoniverse, just across the board. I think on Blue Sky it says Across Whoniverse because you only get so many characters. And yeah, and if you want to leave us a comment or let us get some feedback, email us at acrossthewhoniversepod@gmail.com. Paige, remind the Time Lords where they can find you.
They can find me at Thoughts by Paige on Blue Sky. I am Hey Smithers on Tumblr and Paige Noel Kaiser on Instagram. Where can they find you?
I'm Chels725 on Blue Sky, Serialized, and Letterboxd, and Chels Eichels on Instagram. If you can find my Tumblr, you're stronger than a Dalek. And you can also listen to me and my fellow agent slash companion Gavin on the Q Division, a James Bond movie marathon podcast. Basically, wherever you listen to podcasts, go listen to Morgan's episode because it's amazing. You picked it just because it had a really good song.
I'm sensing a theme here on my guest appearances. They seem to be musically based.
You know what? Good choices, though. Be sure to join us for our next adventure across space and time as we revisit the Unquiet Dead in our next episode. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.